You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
And welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White, and with me is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Well, hello and happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy.
How are you today?
I am doing okay, actually. I'm a little tired. Mm-hmm. You know, the whole Friday night grind and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Sunday night grind.
Right.
Into the next day. But yeah, I don't have to work tonight, so.
Oh, that's nice. That's a rarity for a Saturday.
Nice. Yeah. I think I just, had to lose my mind just one too many times. So they're like, all right, Lace, how about you take a Saturday off? And I'm like,
thanks.
All right, deal.
So I'm glad a breakdown is what led to this. Thanks.
Right. Only 8 years in the making. It took them long enough. Mm-hmm. How are you?
Well, I'm doing better. Kind of been fighting with a cold all week, but it's the weather in Tennessee. I mean, you have been dealing with cold and Chicago. I'm having to deal with bipolar weather because we had rain and 70 degrees for 3 days. And then you wake up the next morning and it's 30 degrees. And it's like you just dropped 40 degrees in 12 hours.
Sounds like you're getting Midwest weather, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. So
I can remember having like 80 degrees when I left the house in the morning to come back home and it's 32. And I'm like, I don't even know how to dress for this.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
It's like one day you're in shorts and a T-shirt and the next day you're having to bundle up with sweaters and long johns. It's ridiculous.
I've just learned to keep like extra clothes in the car because it's just, especially this time of year, because we've been flirting with like 50-degree weather too, finally after the polar vortex. Mm-hmm. And then it drops back into the teens by the evening. So it's like I left for work 2 days ago and it was like 42, which is comfortable. It feels downright balmy after what we've been doing. And then when I left work, it was 12 degrees, feels like -9. And I wasn't ready for that.
No.
So I wasn't dressed properly. Like I had on a coat, don't get me wrong, but I didn't have like the gloves and the hat and the scarf because I don't watch the weather. I guess I need to start doing that so I know how to plan my evening. But
it makes a difference. You know? You don't want to be out there in that sharp cold. It's painful.
Yeah, quick story about that. Now, my only little complaint. So because of that, I was not prepared for the evening, and I have a parking spot in the alleyway. Then there's a gate, so I unlock the gate, and then I walk down my walkway, and then there's the door, and then I go up the stairs, and I'm at my back door. Well, because I was not prepared, and it had been sleeting earlier in the day, the gate was frozen shut. So I'm trying my hardest to get it open. I call the hubs. I'm like, bring out the de-icer. I don't want to walk all the way around the block, right? Because, again, I only left with just the house, not a scarf, not a hat, none of that stuff. So it's blistering cold. So I go wait in the car until he comes out with the de-icer. And try as we may, we could not get that lock unstuck. And so I had to walk all the way around the block, which, if you understood a Chicago City block, in the bitter cold with the wind in my face. I was never in so much wind-chapped pain by the time I got into my house. I was just so mad. Like, stupid Chicago. I can't get it out. Like, the landlord finally got it unlocked, though, with like a half bottle of de-icer. I was like, the de-icer wasn't working. I don't know if it's just broken. All the way around the block. Oh, my God. I was so miserable.
Wow.
Oh.
That is insane.
So keep it all in your car, people. Keep it all in your car. You just never know. Mm-hmm. Just keep that extra set in there.
So while you've been battling the cold, what have you been playing?
So obviously still Beat Saber, but we've beat that to death. But I started Resident Evil 2 yesterday.
I saw that.
I'm only a couple hours in. Probably should be further for as long as I've played. But like the puzzles, they've definitely kind of mixed it up a little bit, or enough distance has passed that I don't really remember them because
Yeah.
when I played it, it was still kind of new. So how long ago was that now? Or like the original anyway. It's been a while. N64 days at least, right?
Yeah, I would say 20 years. Give or
Okay,
take.
so yeah, it's not fresh in my brain.
No.
I don't remember playing it a second or third time or anything like that, going back to it. So, but it looks great, man. It really does.
Think about
It really
that.
does. It plays well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, if I'm streaming and I'm talking a lot, so there's a lot of distance in between everything else getting done. So I always just, with a grain of salt, however much time Steam says I have on a game, to note that I probably paused it many a times just to chat for 5-10 minutes or something like that. But it's gorgeous. I'm not out of the police station yet, so I think I've just barely gotten a little bit past what even the demo would have shown. But yeah, Todd was right, especially with the beginning. They have that nice long exposition there of like what actually happened with the trucker and all this kind of stuff. And all of that's brand new, of course, because I feel like the second game started with you driving near the police station, getting out of the car, and bam.
Yeah.
And so that whole scene being recreated was phenomenal from the over the shoulder point of view and all that kind of stuff, because I, of course, stupidly panic because now it's too realistic, and I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to scary games. Because back in the day, they weren't that graphic, right? So it was like kind of eerie, but it's like I could push through playing it on my own. No, it's really good, though. I'm enjoying so far the little bits that they've made different and the recreation. I don't know. This kind of sets the bar for me on like when you're going to recreate or reboot a game.
Yeah.
Like what you can actually do instead of just slapping a new dress on it. Like... So I'm excited to keep going and hopefully beat this one and then try the Claire campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get through all that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a good game. But I'm not very far, so I don't have like a whole lot of an opinion on it. So yeah. What have you been playing?
Well, still Red Dead 2, and it's I think I just keep getting into these cycles where I'll do some story missions, then I'll do some side missions, and I'll go back to story missions and side missions. Like I spent several hours, this is going to sound really bad, but I spent several hours last night hunting for birds.
For birds?
Yeah, because...
Oh, like turkeys and stuff, or just like all of them?
Little birds, because
Oh, okay.
I got a mission, and I don't remember. I think there was a flyer in a post office, and I pulled it down, and they were like, hey, we're looking for perfect carcasses for certain animals, and it's little animals. So I think the first one was like a rabbit, a squirrel, and a woodpecker, I think it was. And I was like, okay, well, I can find a squirrel and a rabbit, no problem. I said, but I don't recall ever seeing a woodpecker,
Right.
because they're so...
Or if you were even looking for it,
Yeah.
would you even realize, yeah.
So it was, they're very small birds you can just overlook and not even realize. So I started looking around online. I was like, well, where the hell do you find a woodpecker? And, they're like, hey, check out this riverbank on this side of, Valentine or whatever. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm just looking around, just kind of trotting along and looking at all the birds in the sky. And then if I see something that doesn't look right, or if I can target it just enough, it'll say study. And I was like, oh, that's a bird I've not seen.
Yeah.
So I'll just shoot it. And I'll be like, And I luckily found a
He's
woodpecker.
got all these birds
Yeah.
laying around going, woodpecker? See, I think I would just go in there and be like, do I hear any knocking?
Yeah.
Like, is there a bird trying to,
And
I don't know, peck wood?
Yeah, and that's what I thought I'd be doing, is listening for the tapping sound of a woodpecker. And it's like, no, you just got to luck out and hopefully shoot one flying in the sky.
Wow.
So I was like, all
You
right.
have so much more patience for that than I do.
Well, on the flip side of it, I've killed so many birds, and I've found so many different...
The ecosystem is way screwed
Yeah.
up right now.
So I've found all these different species that could be in this list, so I've been saving them. So I was like, I will not sell you. I will not sell you. You may come in handy. Like I shot a Baltimore Oriole, and I was like, oh, crap, there went the team. And...
It's never going to be created now in my world.
But... yeah, it's fun stuff, and then I'll go back to story missions and whatnot. I love it. It's just a nice distraction from the actual game. It gives me something different to do every now and again. And I did find, I don't know if I mentioned this last night or last time, but I found an Arabian horse, and she's bright white, she's beautiful, and she's fast. Like, I've heard that these were like the top horses in the game.
Yeah.
I found her.
Did you get to tame it?
Oh, yeah. I found her,
nice.
I don't remember where exactly, but it was in the snowy mountain areas near a lake, and she was just kind of casually camouflaged in it. I was like, I see you, little son of a gun, and oh yeah, she's a great horse. Oh man, I love her so much.
Yeah, I never made it out to go. Like, the hubs kept telling me, oh, I know exactly where it is if you want to go. Again, with my patience with like hunting or doing any of that kind of stuff, I think I just caved and like bought one. It wasn't the white one, obviously, but I just bought one.
Yeah.
You know, and you get compliments all the time through town, like, "Ooh,
Oh,
nice
yeah.
horse." Yeah. You know.
I think I've gotten more compliments from her than any of my other horses. They're just like, that's a fine looking nag. I'm like, I know.
Took me a minute to get. She's mine. Stay off it. Yep.
But also, I'm sure you have done the same. Been messing around with the Evergate demo. Since
Oh, that's right. I can't believe that completely slipped my mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See what happens with lack of sleep. I have been.
Yeah.
I have been. They called me out on Twitter, yo.
They did me as well. So
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't think now I've seen your best time. Now anybody who might be unfamiliar with what we're talking about, they have a challenge going on where they're trying like speed run challenges, and they've called some of us out, called Lace out, called me out. So I don't know if there's a time we're supposed to be meeting or if it's just.
I think it's just the challenge for best time. Like yesterday, I finally shaved off about 5 seconds. So I don't know if you had seen that yet. So I'm at 2 minutes, 40 seconds, 0.3, I believe, is what the tenths are. And yeah, it's just, and I mean, it's a neat little challenge. They've got people engaged with it because the demo is really short. So I've even gotten some people that don't speed run. They're like, well, now I'm kind of addicted to speed running this thing, you know? So it's a fun little thing. And I think the world record now is like 2:19 or something like that.
See, now
where the tenths are.
What I'm so frustrated with is I think I mentioned before,
or at the time of this taping, let's put it that way. Like, it's been.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people that keep going back and forth for. By the end of the day, it changes, it seems. So,
but I've been struggling with the demo because I tried with a PlayStation 4 controller, and they said it was meant for an Xbox One controller, and I was like, all right, fair enough. But I was trying to.
'Cause it's on PC. Yeah.
I was trying to map it, didn't work. So I finally went out and bought one. I'm struggling with that controller because it feels weird. For me, because I'm not used to that controller. It felt so weird that once I finally started playing with it and got it to work enough to where I could manage, I went back to Red Dead 2. I was so off. I was like, I don't know where buttons are.
I've always had this complaint. Just everyone get together and agree where X is.
Yeah.
And do whatever you want with the rest. Just agree where the X button is.
Yeah. But I even tried with the mouse, keyboard and mouse, just to see how that would work. And I did okay. I think I did like a speed run that was at 8 minutes. But the problem I keep running into, whether it be with the controller or that, once I kind of get into a rhythm, it just feels like my system is lagging and I can't
and you turn the settings down, I would imagine.
Yeah, so I feel like something's holding me back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like if I had proper controls the way that would work best for me, and this is no slight to the developers at for any
right
intents and purposes, but I'm just saying for me, if I knew where all my buttons were and everything was where I needed it to be mentally, I could probably do a decent speed run. I mean,
now are you doing all crystals or any percentage?
I'm not going out of my way to get every crystal. I think the most that I've gotten is all but 2. And it's the 2 that are in kind of that area where they're kind of sitting off to the side on the left in a kind of a clouded area. Because it's just like, I don't need to go over there. There's no reason for me to go over there. So why am I going to go there? Right. And that's why I leave it be.
Because they have 2 different ones going on, obviously. Those who go for all the crystals and then just who do the speed run to the end.
One question I did have, and I guess I could have asked on Discord or something like that. Is there still only just one demo?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
to my knowledge. Well, the only one you can download now is the speedrun channel. So you and I had it before they made it skippable.
Okay.
So you might have 2 versions on your PC, because I accidentally opened up the other one the other day.
Okay.
Before I started the speedrun, because I'm like, why can't I skip these cutscenes?
Ah.
So we probably, cause since we downloaded it before they took out the cutscenes, you have to re-download it from their Kickstarter,
Okay.
and it'll be skippable cutscenes, and that'll shave off a lot of time.
See, that was
The timer apparently runs right away.
that was another one of the things that I was kind of wondering about, because like, so am I getting timed for these cutscenes?
Mm-hmm. It should say hashtag Evergate Challenge on your opening screen now.
Okay. So I'll go back
And
and
so then
do that.
the tutorial you still have to muddle through. Like, they don't make that skippable. Like, you can skip the dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, you can make it go faster. But you still land. You still have to wake up. You still have to watch the other Kai break the crystal to show you how to do it. And then the rest of the little cutscenes that happen in there, you can skip, with the exception of the one bird one. You got to just watch it. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'll look into that then, because I was kind of curious about that, because I thought I'd heard that they had 2. And I was like, so is it different or what? So they just tweaked it. All right, cool.
Right. Yeah, for speedrunners. Yeah.
Excellent.
So if once it's a full release, it's probably going to get one of those timers like most speedrunners get to, where the timer will be set to the game, turn itself off when there's a cutscene, and then start again when it's time to go. I don't know. Unless, because it sounds like that's what they're wanting to do with this.
Yeah.
Bring it into that world. So
Why not?
it's been fun.
People are all over it. All right. Well, what do you say we get into some news? Because we got
Let's do it.
a handful of stories, and I'd say they're small in size, but I mean they're stories nonetheless. The first story that I wanted to touch on was an update to the Metro Epic Games Valve scenario story going on. Now, the creator of Metro, Dmitry Glukovsky, I hope I said his name right. I think I did. Sounded good.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Posted a video on his Instagram to ensure that his words were heard correctly over the controversy. Now, I think last week we had mentioned that, there was a little lost in translation Twitter information. Like, he put it out there, and 1 minute it was like, I'm so mad, and then the next translation was like, no, I'm actually okay with this. So he wanted to set the record straight in his own words. In video form, so people could hear it. So he essentially kind of reaffirmed the one statement that he had a problem with Steam, or he felt they were the problem, and that this move to Epic is meant to rectify any kind of issues that they may be having. And also wanted to stress that he understands, to the fans, he understands their frustration, being upset because the multiple platforms and all that, and he gets it. He said, but he's hoping that they'll understand and remain loyal to the franchise and just bear with them. So that's the update there.
So did he say what motivated the actual switch or the exclusivity for his time period?
Still, he hasn't. So I'm not... There's got to be something either in the deal, or maybe they didn't feel like Steam was going to do right by the game. So it's that part of it still feels questionable. Like, what is it exactly? Maybe they can't legally say. I don't know.
It seems like I remember reading one article a couple weeks back when this first happened, and to me it did seem a lot like, because they're making more money off the Epic Store, the way that it was articulated. And then they kept saying things like, and then we can bring it back to the fans.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember me saying that it was $10 cheaper on the Epic Store than it was on Steam. So it was like, I feel like the article was articulated, and see, this is one of the ways that we can give it back to you.
Right.
So, like, at least if that was the reason, and that they are actually giving it to the gamer, like, at a discounted price, because instead of just being greedy with it, I can respect that. But that was just one article, so and this was, I think, right away. I feel like the same day that we all found out that it was going to be, and I didn't realize it was timed until Todd mentioned it last week, but till what, like 2021 or something like that, or 2020 or whatever. What year is it? 2019. Yeah, for like at least a year.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe people will. I didn't realize there was such a rabid fan base for this game. I mean, I knew it was kind of popular, but geez,
Right. Yeah, it must have grown exponentially. Or we just don't run in that circle, I guess, of people who are...
I mean, there are a lot of gaming circles I don't run in, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know?
Exactly.
The next story I've got is, I think we've mentioned before with all the EA controversy around Star Wars games and all that nonsense, we're all kind of hoping that, maybe they'd lose their license to the game or to the franchise.
They still got it for a couple of years, though, right?
Yeah, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon because the Disney CEO, Bob Iger, mentioned in a big meeting this week or last week, that all the publishing rights for Star Wars games will remain with the publishers, mainly because Disney themselves don't have a good track record with self-publishing. I have to go get some water. Whew. And since they have a great track record with licensing, something that costs them little to no money, and I mean that in terms of Disney money,
right,
massive dollars. They've decided that it's in their best interest to just let EA handle everything, which, I feel like that's a disservice to fans. Think about what EA's doing to tarnish the name of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. If you continue to associate Star Wars with bad video games, people are going to start just saying bad equals Star Wars.
Well, I think also, though, the gamers are smart enough that let's just say, for instance, I'm sure in the future somebody else can get their hands on Star Wars and do it. That first game might blow up a little bit depending on how it's handled and all that kind of stuff, because I think most gamers will be excited to see it wasn't EA. Mm-hmm. And as long as it's done well, or at least presented well, I think that first one at least will do well. They'll give that developer a chance, Mm-hmm. And then past that, you've got to prove it with a really good game once they've shelled out their money.
Yeah.
But
we'll see. And I just feel like I want to play a good game. I love Star Wars, and I'd love to have a good Star Wars game. I'm not going to say that there aren't good ones out there, but I'd like to see more good ones out there. I mean, I will say this. God, I might have to go get some water here in a second.
Okay.
In regards to the original Battlefront game, like EA's Star Wars Battlefront game, I didn't get into it as much as I was hoping. But I will say that the one good thing that did come out of it was the VR experience where you get to ride around in the X-Wing. That was fun. That was awesome because no other game had done that. I felt like I was in the cockpit of an X-Wing, which is something I never thought I'd get to do. Mm-hmm. So it was just like surreal going, oh my God, I'm in space. I'm in Star Wars space. And getting to see everything like that. That was cool. But do I attribute that to EA or someone else,
Yeah.
I'm just saying
was it one of their games?
Yeah, I mean, Battlefront was one of their games. It just happened to be an addition, like a VR mission just for that game that you could tap into. And that's one of the main reasons I'll even go back to that game is just for that 30 minutes in the VR. Because I even had friends, I was like, you got to try this, man.
Got to try this out, yeah.
It's really awesome. And it was even one of those that kind of gets you into the mind space where it'll kind of mess you up because things are just moving. You're like, oh.
I wonder if that would make me sick, actually.
It threw me off a little bit to where you just kind of get that motion sickness, like, oh. But it wasn't as bad as something like Resident Evil 7, which will really throw you off.
Which I'll never try, so I'll never know.
All right. The next thing we got is Microsoft announced that Microsoft Studios is getting a makeover and will be rebranded as Xbox Game Studios.
Okay.
This move is said to be a marketing strategy. I know. But anyway, it's a marketing strategy to elevate the Xbox brand beyond consoles. Now, this sentiment was reinforced by the statement that the brand will be expanding onto numerous other platforms such as PC, mobile devices, and, most notably, consoles like the Nintendo Switch.
Wait, Xbox on Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how they're going to do that, I don't know. But let me just kind of take some observation with this. Have you noticed, I feel like Nintendo and Microsoft are secretly teaming up in the background.
It does kind of seem like that, right? Because they've been doing a lot of cross-play together. Shots fired at Sony because they won't play ball.
Yeah. I really feel like there's something we don't know that's quietly happening in the
Yeah.
background. Like they're trying to team up to say, you know what, if we just work together, we can take all the business away from them because they're getting pretty big for their britches right now, and we can just be like, hey, let's kick them off their pedestal.
Yeah.
It's what it
It'd
seems
be
like.
interesting to see because it does. It does.
So I'm curious about it. It would be neat. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be something to see Xbox on a Switch, and I guess it would be more like kind of how the mobile devices are going to be working in this. Maybe it's an app or something like that, but still,
Yeah.
just the
Well,
idea.
I mean, they do have Windows phones. I don't think they're that popular, but
No, but I don't.
or they were short lived. Do they still make them? I might have to look that up. I don't know if they still do Windows phones.
I think they may have
I
discontinued.
tried playing with one. Sorry, Microsoft. It was.
Yeah, I had
But
one.
I did. Oh, you had one?
I did. It was like a little, had the keyboard and everything. It looked cool, but
Yeah.
And what was
I successfully skipped Windows 8 though. I didn't like that format, so that's what it looked like to me on the phone. And I'm like, nah. I went from 7 to 10. I just skipped the whole thing.
What was funny about it is when I got it, the lady at the phone store, she's like, "Oh, I've not seen anyone buy one of these." And I was like,
That
"Oh,
should have been your first
yeah."
indication.
I was like, maybe I
why?
was the first. I just thought I was the first. I thought I was.
I'm a pioneer.
Yeah. And that was not it.
No.
The next thing I've got is Twitch streamer Helena Live was permanently banned from Twitch due to comments she made on her stream regarding the transgender community. Now, apparently her community complained, calling her insensitive, which led to the ban. Twitch stated in their emails that this was actually repetitive behavior from her, and there were other previous bans before this in regards to similar things, and that's what led to this permanent ban. However, Helena retorted by saying that there was only one other ban prior to this, and she even went on to clarify her statement, saying, quote, "I specifically said, it's okay if a man wants to be a woman, and if a woman wants to be a man, you cannot be anything in between." Now,
Okay.
when I heard that, this is me personally, I was like, that makes sense.
Right.
Where's the outrage coming from? But then I thought to myself, okay, let me understand this from a different point of view.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there's definitely a third option there, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't want to break up your point.
No, I wanted to say, okay, what am I missing here? Because when I read that statement, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. There's men and there's women. So where's number 3? But in trying to understand these arguments, and that's what they are, I reached out to someone in that community, and I said, help me understand this. I said, if you read this statement, does that outrage you? And she was like, not really outrage. She said, I kind of understand where they're coming from, but you also have to understand that there are other options that most people don't think about, like non-binary or gender fluid or intersex and things like that. So there are people out there who have a hard time identifying is either man or woman,
Right.
and that's
I know some people like that actually. Yeah.
so that's where that understanding or that miscommunication comes from. And by learning that, by understanding that point of view, that it kind of made me think, this is what we all need to do as a community. Now, I'm not saying I guess I don't want to condone her words.
Right. I would have to see it in context and everything myself personally before I would comment on what she said. Like, it could just be ignorance to the situation.
And
doesn't know people like that, doesn't understand the different concepts. You know what I mean? Like, there could be a lot going on in there. Or it could have just been said hatefully. I don't know.
Well, she said that she was just kind of making a statement, and even said it, I think, in another statement.
Probably offhanded in some conversation going on
Yeah.
in chat, and it got, okay.
And she was like, I support the transgender community and all that. So it's not like she hates them or is hateful toward them. But the outrage, the fact that she got banned, I guess the point I want to make here is that I feel like more people should do like I did, is go have a conversation about it Understand
Exactly.
it. These people shouldn't have just leapt on her and complained to Twitch and all that. Why not take a moment and say, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but let's have a conversation about it and let me explain to you why that's incorrect.
Right.
As opposed to trying to just get her immediately banned because you didn't like this statement. I understand if you don't like that statement, but educate her. That's what I did. I went and got educated.
In a positive, constructive way.
Yes.
Like I feel like that's always the missing link with any kind of disagreement in today's climate. Is that it's never a conversation.
No.
It's always trying to turn into a heated debate, and then if you don't agree with me, then that's that. You're dead to me in a regard, you know. And again, without having seen it, you know, sometimes it just boils down to that of just not being exposed to those types of situations or the different, you know, people that there are out there. And it may not even been a hateful place. It's just not knowing, not understanding, not being exposed to it. I mean, if you would have asked me 10, 15 years ago, I could have said the same thing probably. Like, I wouldn't have understood that.
Yeah.
But having been exposed to more people who come from that perspective, and that I've had the pleasure of getting to know and talk to, is what, because like I'll understand it, I'll never know. Like, to me, there's a difference between understanding a situation and knowing it, because
Sure.
I'll never have been in that position. I don't know, and I'll never have been there. I identify as a woman. I always have. But I could understand by listening
Yeah.
and try to get their perspective and their point of view. So, I mean, it could have just boiled down to something as simple as she just hasn't been exposed to it.
Yeah.
And then now you might have a bitter taste in your mouth towards it if you wanted to try to have a conversation, because it's just been bitter outrage.
And I think
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that right there is exactly the point. I feel like that the fact that everyone gets outraged immediately over things and we don't have a conversation, you're ruining your chance of trying to get someone to understand, because they are met with such hatefulness and outrage that why would they care?
Right.
It's like, okay, so you want to explain this to me now after you've ruined my career on Twitch because I said something, you didn't want to educate me? She could, I mean, if you tried, if someone calmly tried and it was just this wall and she was just not going to have it and it turned into something hateful,
Right.
then sure, go do whatever you got to do. But have a conversation first. See where that
Right.
goes. If it
Kind of makes me wonder what the community was built up for. See, like, now my mind keeps going to all
Yeah.
these different, like, scenarios and stuff like that. Because I almost feel like if I would have said something like that in my community, it wouldn't have been met with such backlash.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've cultivated more of a, and again, this is all speculation. I have no idea. It could be the most friendly freaking community I've ever seen in my life, you know, and it just happened to get clipped, taken out of context or whatever. So this is all just, you know, anyway, that's a side note, so it has nothing to do with anything. But I feel like it would have been more like, hey, Lace, maybe meet so-and-so or meet so-and-so or talk to this person. Because there's some other fantastic streamers on Twitch that are very open about those types of things. And as long as you're coming in with the idea of wanting to learn, ask as many questions as you want.
Yeah.
Because they're just happy that you're there wanting to understand a different perspective
For sure.
and another human being. Yeah.
I agree. So, there you
But
go.
I would be hesitant to say permanently banned. I don't know. Because Twitch, you know,
I mean,
I've seen people get unbanned for, well, we've had these conversations on the show.
we have.
You know,
So,
you were banned for doing this, but now you're back. Oh, okay. You know, all right.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Maybe she'll learn. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? The next story I've got is another update on the CD Projekt Red story that we've covered last year, where the creator of The Witcher, Andrzej Sapkowski, Sapkowski.
That guy.
I was working on his name the other day. I was like, I'm gonna say this right. Sapkowski.
Sapkowski.
If I'm saying it right. Anyway, he was asking for additional royalties outside of the original agreement they made because he took a lump sum payout and that was it. Now he's like, I want more money. And they were like, no, screw you. So apparently, CD Projekt Red made a deal that will give him more royalties, but it's not the $16 million he was asking for, demanding. But they said this is a smaller payout that kind of as an amicable agreement where they can continue to work together. So I guess they still want to maintain the rights to The Witcher and stuff like that, and they want to make sure that the relationship is good. So they're just like, we'll pay you this, and everything's good. But I never got a number. It's just not $16 million, but it's something to kind of keep the lights on, I guess.
Right. Oh, interesting.
So
is he still even involved with it?
I mean, I don't really think so. I think it was just rights. So
I don't know, because I feel like, is this the case of the whole Friday the 13th lawsuit debacle, where it's like, hey, I made the first movie, but hey, you had nothing to do with Jason, you know?
Yeah.
Like that whole debacle, like, did you do a thing and then that thing's no longer there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into it more.
It's ridiculous. Quickets. Time for some quickets. I got a few.
Let's do it.
Maybe
Sorry, quickets.
Yeah, there you go. A new 2K studio has been formed with Michael Condrey, who's best known for his work on Call of Duty and Dead Space. And this is said to, this company is said to be giving creative freedom to develop the studio's vision and long-term projects while utilizing 2K's resources. Yay, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Things happened.
2 new fighters were announced for Mortal Kombat 11, Devora and Cabal. Devora was introduced in Mortal Kombat 10. She's kind of the insect lady.
Oh, yeah.
And then Cabal goes back to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I hated fighting her.
Yeah.
She was such a pain in the ass.
She was nasty. And then Cabal goes back to Mortal Kombat 3. He's the guy with the, I guess they're hook swords, and got the mask on. It looks like a respirator. Okay. They actually showed a trailer showcasing his movesets and stuff like that. Oh, man. They've turned him into a badass. In fact, I feel like this is kind of giving stuff away, but I guess you kind of want to see it too. In these trailers, they've been showing special moves, and they've also been showing fatalities. And granted, they're not showing every fatality, because I'm sure there are more, but they showed a fatality with him, and oh my God, they continue to show the brutality of these fatalities. Hey, look at that. I just flipped 2 terms on you. Mm-hmm. He took these hook swords, grabbed whoever he was fighting, like in the shoulders or something like that, then took off like the Flash, because he's got that speed move, and just drug him across the floor. And, of course, what happens is all the skin and everything just, oh, man, it was just like, yeah. I was just like, oh, my God.
Well, they did warn it's the most brutal one to date, right?
Yeah, they've definitely took that to a whole another level, because it's just, I mean, the other ones were pretty graphic, but it's how visceral it feels. Like when you think about what he was doing in that, you're just like, oh, my God. You know, gritting your teeth. Also, while we're on that subject, a developer pointed out that all the gear, where you're going to be able to change the gear on the fighters and whatnot, it's all going to be cosmetic. So it's not going to tweak your characters or whatnot. It's just all to make yourself look pretty, or however you want.
However you want it to look, yeah.
So
okay, cool.
I kind of like that, because I feel like that doesn't put the idea or thought of loot boxes in play.
Yeah.
Because, again, in Injustice 2, they kind of did that, you know. They had, you could earn your cosmetics and stuff like that, but there were stats that were attached to them, so it could, you know, beef up your character and whatnot. And then you had the loot boxes. But I never felt like they were invasive, you know, because you could earn tokens, you could earn the boxes as you fought, so I never felt like I was buying them. I just earned a ton of them, and I would unlock other stuff, so I never felt obligated to go buy boxes. So, but I like the fact that they're just saying, this is just cosmetic. If you just want to look however you want to look, there you go.
Go for it. Yeah.
Create your own character, so to speak, however you want. The next thing I've got is a remastered version of Assassin's Creed 3 will release on March 29th. And I'm kind of excited about that. That was one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. It was the first one I ever played.
Oh, the third one?
Yeah,
okay.
And it was, I think I played it on the Wii U, because it was like, oh yeah, Nintendo's finally getting a real game.
Getting an Assassin's Creed game.
This is not, you know, a Nintendo game. But they said it's going to be remastered, so it's going to have the polish. They even said
Okay.
that some of the controls have been tweaked and stuff like that and tightened, so you'll have that kind of adjustment as well. It will come with all the DLC that the original game came with, plus, and I thought this was amazing, I feel like it really amps up the desire to buy it even more. It also comes with Assassin's Creed Liberation, which was like a spin-off title for that game. And
I didn't know about this.
it was
actually.
originally on the PlayStation Vita, and I actually,
Oh.
the Vita that I bought was with that game, came with that game. So to have it on a full console as opposed to that, I'm all right.
Yeah.
You've sold me. You've given me DLC, 2 games. I'm in.
Uh-huh.
And if you've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if you have put the money down for the season pass, you get this all for free.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Another big bonus. So it kind of makes me wonder how much this is going to be in the market.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty old game, so I hope they're not gonna.
$30.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I hope it wouldn't go full price, but I mean,
Because-
again, you just mentioned all you get. So
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't sound like a ripoff if it is, but
Well, I mean, think about it. You're getting $10 per game and then $10 for the DLC. Why not? There you go. So you were
that sounds fair.
breaking it down like that. So
And supposedly remastered and all, or whatever you call it. I don't know. There's remaster, reboot, redone, reimagining. I don't know, whatever the frick you wanna call it.
over 9 billion hours of content was consumed last year on Twitch.
9 billion hours.
9 billion hours. That's
I
insane.
can believe it. Especially when you break down like how many people are on Twitch at a given time.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the millions, right? When you're looking at it across the world.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, here's it.
What does that equate to in years? Or just in... I'm curious.
I don't know. We'd have to. You go look it up while I continue. There was one other thing. I'm glad my brain remembered it that I had not put down on my notes. But this is enough for a quick. It's Activision Blizzard is apparently going to be laying off a ton of people tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, if you're listening to this on Monday. So we'll update everyone next week when we know everything for sure. But that's a report coming down the pipeline. They're getting ready to.
Is that lawsuit taking more than we thought?
I think so. I think it's really taking the toll on them. So we'll know more next week. So stay tuned for updates.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Machinima, do you remember Machinima on YouTube?
Kind of.
Yeah. And they've probably had other things. They're officially closed last week.
They did?
Yep. They are absolutely done. They laid off the remaining 81 employees they had, and their YouTube channel is gone. So Machinima is no more. And I remember Machinima. I think I actually followed them on YouTube for a while, and they did something that pissed me off. And I was like, you know what?
I guess a lot of people.
Yeah, I was just like, nah. And I don't think it was like I don't feel like it was something they said. I think it was the content in which they were producing. Because a moment something came down the pipeline, there was a video. It's like, hey, did you hear this thing? We'll update you. And it's like, so you just told me everything in the stupid thumbnail, and you made me come on here and watch your stupid ass for 2 minutes to say the exact same thing I just read. Why are you producing this garbage?
Those views.
Yeah.
That last minute ad money, yo.
But it was ridiculous. I was just like, you know what? You're not helping me out in any way. You're not benefiting me at all. So screw you. I'm not doing this anymore. Account merging for Fortnite's happening now, so you can merge your accounts if you're a Fortnite player.
That's still waiting on that? Jesus. I
Not
thought that happened
anymore.
already.
Not anymore. No, it's a thing now, so you can do it.
Okay. Yay.
Yeah, this is a wonderful thing. I don't know if you saw this, and I wish I'd have looked at YouTube yesterday so I could have had a little bit more insight on this. But did you know that Jack Black finally played Fortnite on his YouTube channel?
I did not. Damn it. I keep meaning to look up his YouTube thing, and I keep forgetting. My God.
But he wasn't playing. It was all,
he was pretending?
It was all a ruse.
Or had somebody else?
Because he put up this video and you saw his head in the square in the top left-hand corner, and he's just like, look at me, I'm playing games, this is Fortnite. And he's just sitting there, and you kind of see his hands kind of coming up, and he's like got one hand on the
controller. He's too animated when he talks.
Yeah, and there's like one hand on the controller, and you're seeing all this movement on screen. It's like, he's not playing this. This is bullshit. And he's just kind of going along with it, and he's like, look at me, ninja, I'm going to take all your views, and just on and on and on. And then finally, he's like, all right, stop. And then the entire screen turns into a green screen box, and he just pushes this big box out of the way. He's like, I'm not playing Fortnite. I was just messing with you.
Oh, that's great.
So it was just like this big troll on everybody.
Was it like, it would have been great if he was like using Ninja's gameplay though, so it would make him look like he was freaking phenomenal at the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know like whose he was using, because I mean before he revealed it was all a ruse, I was just like, oh, so his kids are probably playing and he's just faking or whatever. But I don't know. Either way, it was just hilarious. And then he went to play with pinball machines and stuff like that, and I was like, this is why I love this channel. You know, he's not.
I gotta just like sub to it now.
Yeah,
because like I don't know why I keep just like we get done with things and then I forget.
Jablinski Games. If you haven't done
Jablinski Games on YouTube.
What's up, Jablinski Jabronis or whatever he calls them. But yeah, I love what he's doing with it. He's not trying to be a gaming channel like everybody else. He's doing his own thing. There's a reality to it, and I think someone was even mentioning that as well. He's not trying to be all fancy and you know, production values high. He's just got his cell phone out and he's just recording. And I think that's what makes it relatable in some way.
Yeah.
What else do I got? Oh, yes. 2 movie video game tidbits. The animated Super Mario Brothers movie, which I'm I kind of looking forward to in a way. You know, I still feel like my live action movie would be good, but that's just me.
They'd listen to us already.
Yeah. But that movie is apparently set to release in 2022, so I guess I got to wait a couple of more years, and hopefully I'll make it until then. Not that
we're still even remembering it by then.
Yeah. Not that I'm planning on going anywhere, just saying. And then also the Monster Hunter film that we're all eagerly anticipating.
Yes.
Will release on September 4th, 2020. So get your outrage pins ready.
Okay.
If you're looking forward to that, I suppose.
Oh my God, wouldn't it be hilarious if we watched it and actually liked it? Would we admit it?
You know, I openly admit that I like the Mortal Kombat movie, the very first one. The second,
the first one, like for its time, was fine. I mean, it didn't age well, but
it's still good. Just in the sense
for what it is.
Yeah, for what it is, because they take the basic premise. They don't try to embellish it or just throw things at it. They just said, okay, we have the 6 or 7 fighters that we need, and they're going to fight in this tournament. There you go. That's the story. And you're like, okay, you didn't add any unnecessary nonsense. You just gave us the basic plot, and you let everybody fight.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect.
Right.
That's all I needed. And then you go to the second one, which I will tear down consistently.
I don't think I even bothered.
Don't.
I don't.
Because what they said is like, all right, cool. We did that. But now we're going to do everything. So cram as many characters as you can into this movie until the plot is just nonsensical to where they're just meeting people for no... Like, Sub-Zero comes out and fights Liu Kang for no reason. You're like, why are you here? What are you doing?
We forgot to write his plot.
Yeah,
maybe there was more to it, and then in the editing room, it just started to not make sense because they were just like, well, this fight scene's really cool, though, so we can't cut it out, even if we're going to cut out all of his other stuff.
Well, it was just, the only reason they even threw it in there was because he was like, you killed my brother, because, Liu Kang killed Sub-Zero in the first one. So it was like, okay. Yeah. And that was important to this plot. Why? Because it went nowhere. They fought, and he was like, you killed my brother. I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'm going to help you on your journey. Okay.
I'm sorry, so wait, now I'm going to help you.
Even worse than that, Melina, which is Katana's sister, okay, they put her in the movie. Now, granted, if you also remember in the Mortal Kombat lore, maybe you do, maybe you don't, Melina was supposed to be Katana's twin, Okay? So you would think to have that happen, you can just get the actress who played her, or who's playing Katana in the movie, and just have her play that role too. Save you a lot of time and effort.
Or find twins. I'm sure there's actor twins out there.
But no, we didn't do that. We cast an entirely different woman who looks nothing like the other one. And then when Sonya Blade just randomly comes across Melina in the movie, Melina is wearing a mask, but she looks at her and says, Katana? I'm like, bullshit! You're not going to look at her. She looks nothing like her, and you didn't even see her face, and you're like, oh, you're...
This one's blonde and tall. The other one...
It was just like, what? That makes no sense. None. I'm just saying.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying.
This is great.
And then, last thing, and I'll move on. Last thing, I'll move on.
Sorry, guys. I've woken the beast.
Yeah, no. When you end the first Mortal Kombat movie, you're treated with this badass looking Shao Kahn. And granted, his voice is very Inspector Gadget, Dr. Claw, but still, the design is like badass. You're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
You know, he looks pretty formidable and intimidating. And then when we start this movie, we get Brian Thompson, the poor man's Arnold Schwarzenegger for B movies, who comes out wearing this cosplayish Shao Kahn outfit, looks nothing like he did in the end of the other movie, and he's just like, I am Shao Kahn! I'm like, okay.
Well, that's why they gave him that line, because nobody would have known who he was otherwise.
Yeah. So it was just like, well, we downgraded pretty quick. So.
Are you wearing off the rack?
And that was probably one of the first times I walked out of a movie theater going, did I just watch? I never walked out of a movie theater.
There's 2 hours of my life and never getting back.
I mean, when you walk out of a movie theater and you just feel disappointed because you
can't even talk about it.
Yeah, you're
like
just
shame.
Yeah, you just kind of like looking down like
nobody look at me.
Because you just spent money to watch this thing on the big screen and you're just like, Jesus, what did I watch? This is terrible. Yeah. Second time was Batman and Robin, and that was, I think, in the same year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to get started on how bad I hated that movie.
Yeah, I
also went to the theater for that.
Yeah, you're just like, Jesus. All right. Well, we'll move on to Truth or Trash.
Back to video games.
Truth or Trash. Truth or Trash.
Okay.
But hey, we're still on Mortal Kombat because I got some Truth or Trash.
Oh, yay.
Okay, so first things first. 3 fighters returning to Mortal Kombat 11. Rain, Aaron Black, and Noob Saibot. Now you can break these.
I would love to.
You can break these down into separate ones if you'd like.
I would love to sit here in front of you and say, how familiar I am with every single character that's ever been born from the Mortal Kombat series. But I'm not. So I could cheat, but that would take too long, and my mechanical keyboard totally rats me out because it's so loud.
How about this? I'll give you the quick rundown of who these characters are, or at least where you might be.
I feel like I've heard of Rain, and Rain, if I saw that one.
Rain and Noob Saibot, they are essentially the palette swapped, ninjas from the other game. So Rain is like a purple scorpion, and then Noob Saibot's just black, like he's a shadow. And also, if you kind of get the joke between Rain.
Oh, I did it
until
now.
He's the Prince of Edenia.
Okay, then he better come back because, rest in peace. And that's a good way.
So he was actually, I think he was actually in Mortal Kombat 10, but he was not playable. It was like he was in the story and you fought him once and everybody's like, he's in the game. We get to play him. And they're like, nah.
So that's not technically returning.
But he will, for Mortal Kombat 11, will he be playable returning character in the game?
Okay.
Much like Devora.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I feel like that would be a good move because I don't have any.
Aaron Black was the cowboy-esque looking fighter from 10.
Then yes, because we're on cowboy kicks.
Yeah, and he was also premiered in 10, so I think it would be a smart move too.
Let's ride that Red Dead train.
Okay, and then what about
slap a hat on.
Noob Saibot, who has been changed in the lore, but
I'm gonna say trash because I've said 2 truths.
Okay,
and that's my logic.
All right. Now the
And
next,
then none of them will be in the game.
well, we'll see. We still got some announcing to do. There was like what 20? We'll say 20 characters left. I don't remember. I've lost count.
Wow, yeah. And then we'll probably got DLC in the future.
Yep. Now here's another one, but this one we're also, this is a returning character, but there's a twist to it.
Okay.
So Mortal Kombat will feature a returning character, John Stryker, who was the SWAT guy from Part 3, I think is where he first premiered. But he will be played by John Cena.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like they're on that kick.
Yeah. Trying to get the fighters.
Yeah.
And
he's
proven
isn't
himself.
he a gamer?
I think so. And he's proven himself to be a decent actor.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw him in Bumblebee, and he didn't bother me. I was like, oh, he's all right.
Oh. I don't know well enough for him to bother me one way or the other, but
Well,
except for, I know people love to use his intro music for like everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's just the idea that sometimes wrestlers do not transition to film that well.
Yeah.
They're just terrible actors.
Acting isn't necessary. You just got to be angry and shout a lot sometimes. This is back in the day when I used to watch it all the time. Yeah,
sure.
I used to.
But see, The Rock, I mean, if you didn't know he was a wrestler at one point, you'd be like, geez, man. You're just like,
action star, yeah.
Yeah, he's
like.
So I think John Cena's doing all right. So
yeah.
No frustrations with him or whatever. The next thing that I have for you, later this year, Monster Hunter World will release DLC with a content collaboration featuring Dark Souls. Now, the Witcher collaboration just released. So what do you think about a Dark Souls collaboration?
On Monster Hunter World?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I could see that. Oh, man. Like a whole other, like, world, monster, all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say... That seems so... This is a tough one.
Yeah.
This is really a tough one. I'm going to say truth.
Okay.
Because I feel like with Dark Souls, that could lead to some interesting monsters that you come across in Monster Hunter.
I mean...
And I never played a lot of Dark Souls. I feel like the play style lends itself well to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong for the people out there who are diehard Dark Souls fans and have played both. I've only played Monster Hunter World and like died a few times on Bloodborne and said, okay, no, thank you. It's too hard for me. But yeah, I think that could lead to some interesting monsters.
I mean, I wasn't sure what they were going to do with the Witcher stuff, and then they released a trailer yesterday to showcase the Witcher collaboration, and the monster that you get to fight is a Leshen from The Witcher, and I was like,
so The Witcher and Dark Souls did a collaboration?
No,
Have I
no,
been under a rock?
Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay.
So we got.
Okay, I knew about that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So you fight a Leshen, that's your monster, and I was like, that's an odd choice, but it works.
Did you play it?
I haven't, but
No.
after seeing that trailer, I was like, I need to kind of get back into Monster Hunter, just because I want to check this out, because it's not just like from what I know, granted I haven't seen it, but just from the trailer, this is actually like an extra story mission, so you get to hang out with Geralt, and you know,
and it's a cross-platform, right? Like it came out for PC, console, all that. Okay. So I know. Okay, so the DLC is on everything. Okay.
So it's like a full story mission. He comes to their world. He warns them of the Leshen. Voice acting, same guy from Witcher 3.
We need to play this.
Yeah.
Why are we not playing this? Is it free? Is it not?
Yeah, it's free.
You gotta pay for it?
Just make sure you got your update.
Dude.
So it sounded really cool. So
yeah.
I'm intrigued. And you only have to be like level 16, I think, in your hunter rank. So
no idea where I left off.
As long as you got past a certain, I think if you beat the game at least, you should be good.
Nope.
See?
Nope.
Well, then we're gonna have to get you to beat it or something.
I get like addicted to things for like short periods of time, and it's just it probably came out during a period where I just like had so much coming at me, and I wanted to play so many different things. I start so many games.
It was in February or January of last year, so yeah. It's that rough time. Okay, last thing I've got. The Last of Us Part 2 will feature a musical montage sequence.
I feel like we've already seen a musical montage sequence. I know that's called a trailer, but like, wasn't that whole song written for? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just gonna say truth on it all. Nobody's lying to me this week. I trust you, Steven.
Okay. I mean, you can interpret that however you wish.
And I mean, yeah,
I mean, is someone gonna jump down and start singing?
Because, well, that or like something dramatic's gonna happen, and we're just gonna hear the entire length of a song while like flashes of your loved one who just died or something is going through your brain or your main character or whatever. So like, I feel like that was left pretty open.
Yeah, could be.
So,
but I was kind of hoping,
as long as it's like at least a 2 or 3 minute thing and a song is playing the whole time, I'm gonna count that as my musical montage sequence.
I mean,
or they could just be rocking out, changing clothes, like good old 80s teen movies.
Yeah.
Sliding across the floor in their socks because they finally found somewhere safe for them to be for a minute and found a radio.
I mean, I'm holding out hope that we get a song and dance number with clickers. Dun, 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 dun.
That would be great. I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe that's they're drunk at the bar sequence and they wake up and they're like, "Whoa, what was that?" You know, it's just.
I just clicked myself, man.
It's so bad.
All right, you ready for some weird news?
Always.
All right, so
Weirder the better.
we're both married, and you know, I know that sounds heartbreaking for some of you out there. Even Todd's married, you know.
Yes.
And I want everyone to know Todd's not exactly the catch he may appear to sound, but that's fine.
Oh, bro. Not even here to defend himself.
Anyway, if any of you out there are looking to plan a wedding in the near future, and maybe you just happen to be a fan of Pokemon, then why not look into the Japanese wedding planning company called Ascrit that is now offering up Pokemon-themed weddings. With this wedding package, you receive place cards and programs that will feature 2 Pikachus, one's a bride and one's a groom.
Okay.
And they have little things that they're doing on the little things.
This is sounding cute already, actually.
Then there's a Pikachu-themed cake with yellow frosting and macarons that are designed like Pokeballs.
Okay.
You get a dinner of select French cuisine decorated with Pokemon flourishes. And you even get a special performance by Pikachu himself or herself. What? Yeah. So maybe he comes out and says, Pikachu! And then just,
oh my God.
You have to translate that as like, you know, congratulations.
I love you!
Yeah.
Or congratulations!
Now, how much will this cost you?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know.
Is this officially Nintendo licensed?
It is. It is actually a licensed wedding. Granted, we've heard of, you know, unofficial Pokemon weddings. It's not it's a thing, but this is an officially licensed Pokemon wedding theme that you can do. All I can tell you is that it will cost you a trip to Japan because that's the only place they're currently available.
Oh, good God, still worth it.
So there are chapels owned by the Ascrit company, and that's where you...
Is Pikachu marrying you, though? Could you have that be a thing?
See, they didn't say that, but why not? Why not
I feel
Pokemon
like if I'm
marrying?
flying myself out there, probably spending 50, 60K, I would imagine, or more even, on a wedding. Pikachu better damn well get his internet license and marry me or whatever it is over there legally.
I mean, just think about being married by a Squirtle or something. Just Squirtle, 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 Squirtle.
Or what's the Boo one?
Yeah.
What's the Boo one?
Or a Mr. Mime. It just sits there and just points at you.
These are endless.
Yeah. Whatever you want. Why not?
Whatever you want. Oh my God, I've got to watch a full version of this. Somebody's, they're going to record it, put it out there. I've just got to find it.
For sure. And one last little tidbit. This wasn't even worth bringing up an entire story. It's just kind of I call it a weird and quick.
Okay.
Did you know that there's a VR game coming out based on the movie Groundhog Day?
I did. I actually did see that a few days ago.
I did too. I was just like, what?
And it's almost like, oddly enough, fine. If it's cheap, I'll do it.
Yeah. It's just, but what are you doing? Are you just going through the
The
day.
same thing over and over again. I don't know. I think it would be hilarious if you were the groundhog.
That would be hilarious. I don't know.
Like,
I guess the concept could be cool, but it just depends on your execution. Like, are we trying to figure out what
I heard Bill Murray has nothing to do with it, though.
No,
so,
no.
like, we gotta
You're
take
playing
that out.
his you're playing his son, his character's son, which means I'm assuming, him and the Andy McDowell's character, they did good. Yeah. They did good.
At some point they figured it out.
So, good for them.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to play?
I'd buy that for $1.
That for $1. It only took how long for me to learn the sequence of events here?
a little while, but it's fine.
A little while.
Okay, so I've got something I think is very interesting. I'm kind of hoping that you will be sold on it because
Okay.
I thought it was
I hope
worth
so too. I'm always excited. I want to find something new to play.
And I'm always
Play with.
always looking for something unique, and I felt like this was worth pitching a sell to. So
Okay.
there are numerous companies out there that sell decals for your console, making them look personalized or put special art on them or whatever you want, right? So, I mean, they're just stickers, pretty much. You just line your console with it and whatever. So what if I could offer you the same thing, but something that wasn't stickers necessarily?
Okay. It's for your console, though, I'm assuming? Like, that's
Well,
the route we're heading?
That's
Okay.
for your console, but much, much more.
Oh.
I present to you ToastMade, a company that creates unique customizable decals out of sustainably harvested wood veneer and even top-grain American leather to deliver grip, gorgeousness, and moderate protection while retaining a sleek, slim profile. Now,
Okay, but what? Okay, yours not done. Sorry.
these decals, which are known as toast covers, can be
Koozies.
can be designed for your PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, or even your laptop and mobile devices. Now, how does it work exactly? Well, these aren't, plastic snap-on cases or vinyl decals or even rubber bumpers. They are semi-permanent covers that adhere to your device using 3M adhesives. But they do it in such a slim, sleek way that you'd never know it.
Okay.
Now, if you're still on board, you can get any of
I'm
these.
trying to be.
Okay. You can still get any of these covers in different shades, like walnut, ebony, or even bamboo. Plus, the customizable options are endless, as you can put any design you choose on it, and it will be laser etched into the wood.
Oh, it's wood for sure.
It is wood. It's not wood looking. It is crafted with wood.
That we're putting on our devices.
Yes. Now to look, I know you're sitting there thinking to yourself, what? If you saw it, if you saw a picture of it, I think
I know. I'm trying really hard to envision this.
I mean, you can
You can
Google
tell
it.
I'm looking to the right corner of my brain.
I would tell you to Google it, but then you'll see the prices.
Yeah,
So I'm
then that's cheating.
I tell you what.
Clicky click.
Let's play the price game first, and then while I'm doing release dates, you can
So
go
it's
look
real
at it.
wood.
This is real wood.
Anything could be etched into it as far as the design. And it's for all the things. So am I looking for a price for console, and then the price for my mobile, then my price for my laptop?
I broke it down into several sections because each price range varies. So for your PlayStation 4 and your Xbox One, you have two price ranges. You've got your basic, which is just,
the top maybe. I don't know.
no customizable options whatsoever. It's just the wood.
Just make it look like wood.
Yeah. And you've got the customized. So how much would you pay for a basic just
And you said it's real wood,
This
like
is real wood.
mahogany and all that kind of stuff.
harvested wood
$200? Because I would think it would have to be pretty thin because you're adding all this heat to it then.
Well, that's the other great thing about it is if you look on their website, the wood that you're adding to it is actually better for your console, keeps it cool.
Does it now?
Scientifically proven.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
The $200 for just the top?
I mean, you're going to buy about 4 with that. because
Oh,
it's
really? Because I'm
only-
always so used to undercutting
Yeah.
a ridiculous amount that
No.
I overshot then. Okay, so like $50?
$50.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted to customize it, what would you pay?
Oh, well, okay. Let's say 100 then.
Still doing pretty
Depending,
good.
was it like, is it depending on the
No,
the
no,
design
it's
though,
just-
and like how detailed?
Nope. Just as whatever you want to do. If you want to customize it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll stick with that. I'm sure I overshot again.
80.
$100? 80?
80.
Really?
Yeah. So see, you're
I'm
getting
gonna
a
have to
great
look
deal.
at these now.
Mm-hmm. Now for your Switch, I only saw a basic. I didn't see. There might be a customized, but I only
Is
saw.
it for the dock or for the?
It will be for your handheld and your dock. So how much would you pay
okay.
for that?
Oh well, shit, that's smaller. So like, since I've been way off, $40.
Very good. Spot
Oh,
on.
yeah?
Yeah, spot on. Now what about laptops? Basic and then customize.
I feel like it would be about the same, but they can be a little bit bigger. So
Mm-hmm.
45.
It will be 70.
Oh,
And then
yeah. 'Cause, I mean,
customized.
that's hard to tell though, because I mean they're all different sizes.
Sure. But what about customized?
So you said $70 for that. So custom.
For a
I don't
basic,
know,
yeah.
$100 in.
90.
I feel like 30, 90. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like 30 was the jump there on the console.
And then finally for iPhones, Androids, and tablets. What would you pay?
$20.
You're going to have to go up just a little.
Really? Because it's so small.
I understand.
25,
A little bit more.
30,
More.
35, 36.99.
40.
It better not be $40.
It is 40.
Really?
Yep.
$40 for your Switch
But-
and then $40 for your mobile phone.
But there's
People.
a range. There's a range of sizes and whatnot and customizable options. I'm just giving you basic ideas here. There are so many options,
Okay.
but this is the lowest price that you could possibly get it for.
What is this called now?
It's called ToastMade. ToastMade.com.
Toast- like a toaster?
Yeah, ToastMade, MADE.com.
Okay,
Check it out.
I just want to see this now.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to move on to release dates. So take a look at that and then let me know afterwards. All right. Release dates. On February 11th, we have Darkest Hunter for Nintendo Switch. Then February 12th, we have Conarium for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Zing, The Land Beyond for PlayStation 4 and PSVR. Minesweeper Genius for Nintendo Switch. Descent for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Jump Force for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel for PlayStation 4. Hacky Zack for PlayStation 4. The King's Bird for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Then on February 13th, we have Iron Cryptical for Nintendo Switch. February 14th, we have Code Realize, Wintertide Miracles for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. Degrees of Separation for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. Love Hero for 3DS. Tokyo School Life for Nintendo Switch. Ollie Ollie Switch Stance for Nintendo Switch. And then the rest are for Nintendo Switch. Love, Nico Para Volume 2, Strikey Sisters, Ghoul Boy, Cinders, Space War Arena, all for Nintendo Switch on February 14th. Then on February 15th, we finally have the release of several big titles. Crackdown 3 for Xbox One and PC. Metro Exodus for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Far Cry New Dawn for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. DreamWorks Dragons Dawn of the New Riders for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Jump Force for PC. Hacky Zack for Xbox One. Space Lift Danger Panic for Nintendo Switch. And Rhyme 9000 for PlayStation 4.
Okay, these look really cool.
They do. They just, they I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's something you didn't think you wanted until you see it, and you're like, hey, you know what? I might
The
actually.
leather one doesn't seem to line up really well, though, with the camera and stuff
No,
on a
but
phone.
I mean, we're not really worried about that now, are
But
we?
I feel like, well, I mean, people live by taking pictures of their food, dude. Come on.
Yeah, true. All right. Are you ready to play?
What the hell did you just say?
I'll try, man.
So-
Without Todd here, I feel like.
I know. I mean, I lined these up, and I even did. We can do this one of two ways because I did set it up to tell you what the games are.
Okay.
So if you want me to tell you what the games actually are, I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, but we maybe we don't need to do all of them then. Because
No.
I was like, I set up like now, like I picked out you a couple, but I have no idea what the games are about. Cause
That's
I only
fine.
wrote down the name.
Well, I'm just going to
So
give
that would
you.
break the game.
I'm just going to give you your 3, and then we'll go
Okay.
from there.
Okay.
All right. Spork, the Manic Utensil Storm.
Spork, the Manic Utensil Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why I feel like this is a platformer. Obviously, a spork is your protagonist that you're playing here. And it is set in this post-apocalyptic cafeteria world. And that's one of the powers that you have is you can create storm just like an X-Man or something like that. So you have Sporky who's walking through. And I mean, envision this, though. We're all the size of a spork.
Mm-hmm.
In this 2D platformer. So this cafeteria lends itself to be a quite large open world, okay? But not open, obviously, because I just said platform. So I'm going to go side-scrolling platformer on this one. And as you're jumping across, like, trays and the different tables and all this kind of stuff, like meatballs are getting thrown because the ultimate boss, of course, is that cafeteria lady. The one that's got, like, the mole right here. I mean, we're talking gross, scraggly hair. The apron hasn't been washed in 20 years, you know, and that's your end goal boss. But as you're going along the way, maybe a spoon could be your sidekick for a level or a knife or what's that one straw spoon thing that like Sonic gives you when you get a slushie?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that's called.
Yeah,
it's got to be
that
in
thing.
there, you know, and so he can make it rain because he can scoop it all up. Yeah, so it's just all food-related platforming fun in a post-apocalyptic cafeteria when the food used to be good until she arrived.
Do you want to know now or do you want to wait?
Yes, I kind of want to know now how
Okay.
off I was.
These are official descriptions.
Okay.
So this isn't something I made up. This is official descriptions of every one of these games. Trapped in a war between spoons and forks, how does a spork survive? It's a turn-based RPG with puzzle elements. You're a neutral party in the ongoing utensil war. Your actions will have consequences. Choose to take sides, sneak through as a neutral party, or just shoot everything that moves. Use your skills, guns, and the world physics to defeat your enemies. You'll need to try different skill and weapons to suit each level. Pick skills strategically to conquer each stage.
I like mine better.
Yeah, it does. It does have a little bit of flair. All right, the next one. Mm-hmm. The Angry Banana.
The Angry Banana? Jesus Christ, people. It's like it's almost even tapping my creativity out. The Angry Banana. So I feel like this is a spin-off of a Family Guy game, right?
Okay.
But you're playing Brian in the banana suit. You know how he sings that whole song? It was Brian, right? That sings the whole song with like a baseball bat.
Time.
Yeah, peanut butter jelly time. So it's a turn-based strategy game, and you're going through. I don't know. We'll just say that it's a hour or two long. Turn-based strategy game. The first time they go to a ballpark, and you're playing as the angry Brian Banana, who's trying to work his way out of the, what do they call it? I'm not a sports person. Sports ball in the bunker where they just sit there waiting their turn.
The dugout.
The dugout or that, yeah. And so he's got to prove it on the sidelines. So every time that it's your turn to roll or whatever, if you get a high enough one, that means you actually hit the ball. And they're like, all right, Brian, you can go in. But he's, of course, got his special skill, his anger. Mm-hmm. And if you can tap that, roll that enough to fill that bar, you'll get a home run. And it's just all about Brian being a banana, trying to make it in the big leagues for their baseball team that's local. They serve Dunkin' Donut burgers at this ballpark. I thought I would just add, because it sounds healthy.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
There is no point to the game I just said.
No. This is a short 2D action game with a funny story that's full of nonsense. You'll go out on a journey to avenge your, quote, family, but will you be able to? You'll be going through 5 different levels where you need to pay a lot of attention about what's going on around you. In order to survive, know when you should move, know when you shouldn't. Use your deadly banana peels and your devastating banana kick to destroy different enemies who try to stop you. If you survive, then maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to get your revenge.
Oh, I just thought of a better one. It should be about like a battle royale in the Chiquita banana hat.
Sure. Let's go with that.
That should have been my answer. Mm-hmm. That's my new answer.
All right. The last one I'll give you. The floor is really cheap lava.
The floor is really cheap lava.
Mm-hmm.
See, now me, I feel like this is just a card game now, like a drinking game. Like I'm going back to, do you ever watch New Girl? You know how they have
I'm aware
President's Game or whatever.
I would say don't overthink this.
The floor is really cheap lava. So don't overthink it. So maybe this time I try to actually guess what the game is. So maybe it is a child's game. And that's what the kids are playing. So it's like a series of QTEs. If you got to like hop from the couch to the chair to the table. But the added complication is that like if your parents like sneak in to look and then you've got to like hurry up and try to not be caught jumping across all the furniture and stuff like that. But they have like shag carpeting. So that's why they call it really cheap lava as opposed to like, the really hugely spun great carpeting. I don't know my carpets.
It's okay.
Let's just say it's an expensive carpet versus a cheap carpet that we had like back in the 70s that totally probably had asbestos and caught on fire.
Okay.
Maybe it's as simple as that. Simple as that. I don't have an end goal in mind for this. Like, I feel like it's just one of those time wasters, and you can collect coins to maybe upgrade the carpet. I don't know.
It really sounds like it because the official description of this game is avoid randomly placed lava squares as you move faster and faster down the floor of lava.
Okay.
That's it. Yep. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy any of my games this week.
Okay.
Todd still wins, even though he's not here.
I'm going to save, because I found 3 good ones for him. I found 3 solid choices for him, and he's not here. By the way, Todd's not here. He's under the weather.
He doesn't feel well.
I don't think we mentioned that earlier, but yeah, he's under the weather, which I understand.
We were going to at the end.
It's fine.
Our bro is sick.
Yep.
Get better, Todd. I hope you feel well soon.
Yeah,
I'll miss you next week too, I think. So goodbye, bro.
Yeah.
Feel better.
It's okay. So I'll save those for him for next week because I found 3 solid choices that would be right up his alley. And I thought
it was all about hentai, wasn't it?
There was one. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, people. Now you know what to look forward to next week.
All right. We're going to move into our segment for the week, which, I was trying to I'm sure if we were a little bit bigger, we'd have games we could review every week, but we're working on that, people. That's why we need your likes and love and comments and all that stuff. But this week I thought we'd do something a little bit differently, try to think of something unique to do, and I thought it would be fun that we would discuss games that we did not like that the rest of the world seems to adore. And try to kind of give a little insight as to why this game just didn't connect with us for whatever reason. Now, I'll go ahead and say up front, because I did talk to Todd beforehand, and he can make his argument next week maybe to elaborate a little bit more, but his choice was The Witcher 3. And we have mentioned, I think he's mentioned it on previous episodes. Like, when I was playing it, I remember there were weeks, months maybe, that I was playing this game constantly.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that it was a game that he tried to get into and could not. And I think his reasoning is that there was this grind at the beginning.
Yeah.
That it was just constantly like, God, I can't do anything. It's like I'm constantly grinding and I can't get anywhere. And I tried explaining to him, once I got past level 5 and could move out into the world, everything got so much better, so much easier. It's like the grind stopped, and then I just kept leveling up almost constantly, you know? And then again, in hindsight, that's just how it felt. It might not have been that fast, but that's just how it felt for me. But I play my games differently than some people. You know, like Red Dead. I'm sure he beat it within a week or two, but I'm still playing it for like the third or fourth week. And it's because I like to explore. I just like to enjoy my surroundings.
Right.
And that's what I did there.
How they want, yeah.
I explore, I look around, I do different things, and just do it like that. But to each his own. It's just not a game that really dragged him in. And he even admitted to me the other day that he still has it. And he wants to get into it.
He wants to love the game.
Yeah, because he hears about it all the time, but yet he cannot.
I'll be honest, I can understand
it.
that. I never got that far in Witcher 3 either, and it was probably my same complaint, or I just kept trying to go too far into the story before I was ready, and would keep getting leveled by these mobs that come out of nowhere where I'm just like, they're one-shotting me. How the hell am I supposed to get from A to B?
Yeah.
So I could understand that.
It took some getting used to, because I think I'd picked it up once before and then walked away from it because I was just like, do I want to play this right now? Because there was something.
Another one that's overwhelming because it's large.
Yeah, and there was something about it that was, I don't want to say it just turned me away, but I guess the controls were not what I was expecting. So I was just like, am I gonna get into this? I don't know. So I walked away from it, and then I came back to it. And I was like, all right, let's give it the old college try and really push through it and see how deep I can get into it. And I did. You know, it took a minute, but I got into it.
I feel like you really did though, right? You played the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I went through the DLCs and everything. Like I did so much. The only thing I regret that I didn't do is get the solid ending to the game. I got a real shit ending. Because I made one mistake toward the end when it came to Siri.
It's kind of like with Dragon Age, man. There's like one decision that you make super early on that you have no idea is going to lend itself to not being able to like marry the one dude. I remember getting really pissed about that. And when I looked up this thing, I was like, that was so long ago. I'd have to go back so far. One dialogue option.
Yeah.
One. Change that whole thing to where he's like, nah, or yeah. I'm like, fuck.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that'll transition into mine. Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, no.
Because I may have mentioned it on
Well, you said Inquisition.
I did say Inquisition. I had never played any Dragon Age game before, any in the series, whatever. And a friend of mine was just like, hey, because he was talking about how he got obsessed with Dragon Age Inquisition, how it was just this amazing game. He spent so many hours on it, and he's like, dude, you got to check it out. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Then one day it was on sale on the PlayStation Store, and I thought, well, he's giving it a lot of high marks, so why not? I'll put the money down for it, and I'll check it out. Twice I have picked this game up and played to a certain point, and then I'll put it down. And I don't know what specifically is happening when I go, because it's not like I play for an hour and just like, oh, it's not for me. I play for a decent amount of time.
You gave it a good old try.
Yeah, I played for hours, but something happens within the story, because I think the last time that I played, I got much farther than I did the first time, and I remember going to a castle, and I guess you're supposed to set this castle up as like your main fort or your main base of operations or whatever. And I don't want to make it sound like the world was so overwhelming that I couldn't take it in, but there was something about that element to it that made it feel like it was like I didn't know what to do. Like there were just so many options of things to do, and I'm like, well, I don't know which direction you want me to go in, because this is not an open world type game in that way. Because
not exactly, no, yeah.
Because it's like you bounce from this area to that area or this area to that area, and then it's big, but not in an open world style way, like it's one solid map that you can just keep going from one spot to another. So it would be like there'd be 3 different missions going on at one time, and it's like, well, we need to go do this and we need to go do that, and I'm like, well, which should we do first? because I don't know. You're not telling me. You're not giving me any ideas. So I would pick one.
Might have been helpful to play the other ones, but I don't know because I did. So yeah.
But once I would take a shot in the dark and say, all right, well, I'll go here, I would be outmatched, or my levels would be wrong or something like that, and I'd get my ass handed to me. So I was like, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know. And again, we could relate that back to The Witcher, like why I pushed through for that than this, but there was just something about this game that wasn't connecting with me. And there were some awesome things, like I remember running into a dragon's nest one time. I just happened to be walking, and I was like, I wonder what's up here, because I like to explore, and I see these little dragons jumping around. I'm like, oh, dragons, that's cool. And then here come Big Mama Dragon. I was like, oh, that's big. And she just lit me ablaze. And I was like, all right, I won't come back up here.
Sorry.
Yeah. And that was something I wanted to do. I was like, I'd love to be able to take down a dragon because that would be kind of neat. But I still kind of in my head think that maybe if I could just push through a little bit more. But I feel like that's part of the problem. I shouldn't have to want to push through. I should just enjoy it. The Witcher, even though there was that grind at the beginning, I wanted to keep going because I was like, this is kind of interesting. I'd like to see where this story goes. I'd like to see where this world is and what it is. But Dragon Age just wasn't connecting with me in that way, so I didn't want to continue.
Yeah, that's a shame. Like, I liked Inquisition. But I'm still a huge fan of Origins. Still probably one of my favorite ones. Like, it was better than 2. You've all heard my disdain for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Time and time again.
So what about
Abomination.
You? What is your choice?
Oh, my God. So Breath of the Wild was mine.
That is that's going to piss a lot of people off.
It really is, and I know it, and I'm sorry. Yes, it was a Zelda game, and yes, I've had fun with Zelda games in the past. I couldn't.
What is it? What is it about the game?
So, like, I wanted to love it, obviously. So I got my hands on it for probably, and to be fair, I played it for like 2 hours. I got a hold of a Switch at my niece's house when I got to visit her. And so I'm like, oh, this was my first new Zelda game to play, to be fair. So I'm coming from NES, where I played the first original. I even played 2, and then I don't think I've touched a single Zelda game in between. So there's been all of those that I've missed. So maybe I've not been prepped well enough for it. I know I'm trying to defend it now for all the hate comments, but like, this is the first one. I don't know that I liked Zelda being an open world. I'm not a fan of breakable weapons and garbage like that, and having to like redo it. For some reason, I felt the controls were kind of clanky when I would like try to zero in on a mob, and maybe I just didn't know how to do it or focus on it or whatever. And I just felt bored. Like the overlying story that it was trying to have, maybe I didn't find enough of it. But the whole fact that like nobody really talks and you're trying to give me this really huge long wall of text on a story that doesn't really seem to connect with me at all. There's no real dungeons to crawl in. It looked good.
It could look better. Yeah, I'm saying it.
It could look better, but I mean, when we're talking from my last experience with Zelda games to that, yeah, it looked a lot better as far as like aesthetics, and it was gorgeous and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't get into it, and it felt like kind of a grind to me in the beginning too, because like I feel like we're having to craft all this different food, and there's like was this mechanic to like float around so you could kind of fly. And I guess I was just not patient enough to try to put in the time it would take to like make that distance to anything. So I didn't even really see the point, because every time I'd put up my little thing to fly, it was like I had like 4 or 5 seconds. And I'm like, well, if I try to go off this cliff, I'm just going to die. I never was able to get a horse. You know what I mean? So just like all these little things. I was just so bored.
Yeah.
I was just so bored. For some reason, I played it for like 2 or 3 hours. And there was nothing that was just gripping me to want to keep going. I just...
Well, I mean, your argument that the story seems so loose. I mean, with the other games, you know where you're going. You know what you're supposed to be doing, so you kind of have
I know how to get there,
yeah,
but
you have a direction in which you know to kind of follow, and that leads you to the first dungeon and the next one and the next one. So even though you can kind of go, I mean, for an example, like the original Zelda game, you can tackle all those however you want. So, I mean, that was kind of your first real open world game. There's no forcing you to do whatever. I mean, you could explore it however you want. And I think that's what they were trying to get back with this, but I understand what you mean. The games have changed. This open world, do it however you want.
Maybe I wasn't ready for
changed.
Zelda to be open world.
It's taken the
I
original
don't know.
aesthetic and taken it to an entirely new world, and if you're used to a formula, it's jarring. So I can get where you're coming from. I haven't played
and
it,
I would
so
wander
I would
into a world that, like you were saying before, like it's so over leveled for me, and maybe I just couldn't get a hold of the Switch controls, or it wasn't explaining it well enough to me. But I'm just like, now I'm dying all the time. I don't know how to focus well. I didn't even understand when my weapon broke, or what I would even need to do to make that not broke anymore, or why do I have to cook all this food, And I'm just I'm just going to go back to my original if I want a Zelda experience, I guess. I'm sorry, but oh my God, I was so bored.
It's okay.
But what made it even worse is I was playing it at my niece's house, and she loved Zelda. She's loved like every iteration of Zelda. So I almost felt like I had to pretend like I was so in love with it the whole time I was playing it, because they're watching me, and I didn't want to like poo-poo on her thing. So I like played, I guarantee you I played way longer than I would have had it been just for me.
Sure.
Just to like, I'll give it a shot. We're going to keep going. They find it entertaining. I felt like I almost had to be streaming, where I'm just like, yeah, let's make this fun, for everyone's watching me now. And I'm just trying. So I feel like I got to like a bridge puzzle too, or something where I had to push shit around, or whatever power it was that you could like lift bricks or something with. And I think I got through that whole sequence, and I'm like, well, I don't want to hog the TV the whole time. We should get to hang out and do other things.
That's always your out. That's always your out. Just be like, you play for a while.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Maybe you could show me something that's going to make this fun for me.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, hey, it's fine. This is the one Zelda game I have not played. So,
okay.
And there's also this desire. Well, I don't want to. Lack of desire. That's the best term. There's nothing about it that has made me go, I must play. Despite all the praise that I've heard. I get it. But I've seen it at GameStop. I've, messed around with a demo, and I'm just like, okay. I don't know. Maybe I've just lost my interest. I want maybe a more... Maybe it's just not the Zelda game I want.
Yeah, or maybe I've just like, I'm not going to say outgrown the concept. Maybe my tastes have just changed since, the original to what my gaming tastes are now from when I was a child. That's totally possible, And
I mean,
I'm making excuses because I'm going to get all the hate.
But again, I mean, even the prospect of an open world Zelda game sounded intriguing. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But is it? I don't know.
I mean, this one wasn't. I mean, maybe I could try other ones and I would feel different. I don't feel like I would, but I mean, I'm always willing to try a game, regardless of its genre, because I've shocked myself before with a genre that I never thought I would ever get into, and I would have a good time.
Sure.
So I'm very willing to try any type of game, except for VR horror, because I'm just too much of a wuss. Leave me alone. I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. But yeah.
It's fine.
Sorry, missed the mark on this gal. Missed the mark on this gal.
It's all good. But well, there are games that we are the black sheep. We don't like these games.
Sorry.
So, there you go.
Sorry about it.
Don't add us. It's our opinion.
Oh no, at me, it's fine. Lacia_Finley on Twitter.
In fact, if you want,
I'll just let you guys have your own conversation about it while I read the comments.
In fact, no, yes.
Because that's my sickness.
Please add us sometime because, let us know what you
Super
think.
Mega Crash.
Talk to us
You
sometimes.
could be like, stupid Lacia with her Breath of the Wild, or damn you, Todd, why didn't you love Witcher 3?
So
I don't know if you'll have as much Inquisition hate.
So I
now,
mean,
if you would have said Origins, maybe.
I guess he's really not missing out on that Monster Hunter thing because he can't play online with Monster Hunter, and it's The Witcher 3, and he doesn't like that anyway. So I don't really guess he's missing much on that.
So he's probably fine.
He's like,
he's probably napping like a baby right now.
Yeah,
Not worried about it.
It's true. Speaking of The Witcher, just one last thing real quick before we toddle off. Have you seen Henry Cavill and what he looks like beefing up for The Witcher?
I haven't seen him recently. I only saw that one really dumb like reveal trailer thing they tried to do where he just like walked on set or some garbage like that.
No, he's apparently been doing
beefing up though. He's already pretty
no.
Okay.
Okay, if
should Lace be looking now? Will I be happy?
If you want to, I don't know, because he went from Superman buff to like he looks like a bodybuilder. I mean, it's not what I expected.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not
too much.
I felt like it is. I was just like, what are you doing, man? Because that's not what I expected Geralt to look like. But I'm visualizing Geralt from the games. Maybe Geralt in the books is designed differently. I don't know.
Oh, I can't find anything that looks legit.
Well,
he's always photoshopped.
No, this is just Henry Cavill workout. I mean, it was a recent picture. He's pretty beef.
I'm on the hunt, ladies
Look for
and
it.
gentlemen.
All right. Well, while you're looking for your sexual flavor,
I have to see now.
That's our show. Thank you to all of our listeners out there in Radioland. Remember, as we just said before, you can follow us and add us on Twitter at SuperMegaCrash. You can find us on Instagram to view our weekly icon art or shoot us an email at SuperMegaCrash if you just want to say something really nice about us. That would be nice, and we'll read it on the podcast sometime if we ever get mail. And you can also support our show by pressing a like button. You can leave reviews on your preferred platform, and even go to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. Should you want to share the love, you can tell your friends to find us on the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network, found on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you find your podcasts. I saw that look.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, it's a little much.
It's a little much.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one where he's standing next to the Superman statue.
Yeah, he looks like.
Holy crap, Henry.
I don't really know.
All right.
Yeah. It's gonna.
You do you, man. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's Superman right there.
I feel like that's even too much for Superman. I thought he was a perfect size for Superman. That's just me.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Go out there and look for Henry Cavill. No, it's fine. Thank you so much for listening. I am Stephen White.
I'm Felicia Finley.
And join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then, game on.
Pop-Tart. He'll just edit this out. Or not. I don't know yet. We'll see. You guys let me know in the comments if you hear all this. What kind of Pop-Tart am I eating?
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.